I'm gonna send you a text.
The time is now 9 a.m. The date is June the 2nd, 2026. We will call to order our meeting for the mayor and city council for the city of Statesboro, Georgia. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by council member Jenny Henry.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together on this beautiful summer morning. We just pray that you fall on this place. Give us discernment and grace to work together for your good. Bless the city of Statesboro and all its leaders and citizens. First, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Savior, I pray. Amen. Now pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We want to go down to agenda item 3, which is recognitions and public presentations. We have 2 items, 3A, which is ceremonial signing between the city of Statesboro and the United States Army. I understand we have some distinguished guests here. We want to call you forward and give you a moment to speak about our partnership between the city and the United States Army.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the U.S. Army Partnership for Success, aka PAYS ceremony. The U.S. Army PAYS program is a strategic partnership between the U.S. Army and a cross-section of the private industry, academia, and businesses to include federal, state, and local agencies. The U.S. Army PAYS program guarantees soldiers and ROTC cadets 5 job interviews and possible employment after their service in the U.S. Army. Today's partnership memorandum of agreement between the U.S. Army and the city of Statesboro will be signed by Lieutenant Colonel Craig Henderson, commander of the Georgia Army National Guard Retention and Recruiting Battalion, and Jonathan McCullough, mayor of the city of Statesboro. Lieutenant Colonel Craig Henderson is from Commerce, Georgia, and graduated from North Georgia College and State University with a Bachelor of Science in Biology. He also has a Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership at Eric C. University and currently in the U.S. Army War College. Lieutenant Colonel Henderson served in command positions up to the battalion level and staff positions up to the division. Lieutenant Colonel Henderson currently serves as the battalion commander of the Georgia Army National Guard Recruiting and Retention Battalion. Notably, he recently served as the battalion commander of the 177th Brigade Engineer Battalion, 48th Infantry Brigade Combat Team. He has formerly served as a Human Resource Plans Branch Chief in the state's G1, the 1st and 108th Cav Executive Officer, and the Brigade Engineer, and the Assistant S3 of the 78th Troop Command. He was the aide-de-camp to the Assistant Adjutant General of the Commander of Task Force 2 of the Recruiting Retention Battalion, the Training Officer of the 3rd and 108th Cav, and served as the AS4 of the Homeland Response Force. He deployed to Iraq in 2003-2004 as an enlisted soldier, to Afghanistan in 2008-2009, where he served as a route clearance platoon leader in the 810th Engineer Company, SAPR, and again to Afghanistan in 2018 and 2019 as a 40th IBCT Brigade Engineer. Lieutenant Colonel Henderson's professional military education includes the Engineer Officer Basic Engineer Captain's Career Course, intermediate level education, the Advanced Operations Course, and is currently in the U.S. Army War College. He has completed several additional skill identification courses, including Jumpmaster, Pathfinder, and Rigger. Lieutenant Colonel Henderson's highest decorations include the Bronze Stars Medal, Purple Heart, and the Meritorious Service Medal. He is a recipient of the Bronze Order of St. George and the Bronze de Fleury Medal. Lieutenant Colonel Henderson, his wife Maria, their 2 sons Mason and Cullen, and their daughter Loyalty reside in Powder Springs, Georgia. I would now like to introduce you to the commander of the Georgia Army National Guard Recruiting Retention Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Craig Henderson.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. Mayor McCullough, thank you, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, fellow soldiers, and friends of Statesboro. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's truly special to be back in Statesboro today. This community holds a very special place in my heart I had the honor of commanding the 177th Brigade Engineer Battalion just right here in Statesboro, Georgia. And during my time in command, our battalion answered the call not only overseas, but in the homeland during both Hurricane Helene and then Hurricane Debbie. I watched our citizen soldiers work side by side with your first responders to save lives and mitigate suffering for the people of Bullitt County by clearing roads, saving dams, delivering supplies, and helping families recover. Those days remind me why I love serving in the Georgia Army National Guard. The Guard is different. It's the service of choice for so many Georgians because it is an organization. It lets you serve in the Army and go to school and start a family and have a civilian job and attend a technical school and even become an entrepreneur, all while serving your country, your state, and your community. The dual mission, state and federal, is one of the greatest benefits of Guard service. Our soldiers gain world-class leadership training, technical skills, and discipline, while keeping the flexibility to build the life they want right here in Georgia. And that is exactly why programs like Partnership for Your Success are so powerful. PAYS is symbiotic with the service in the Georgia National Guard. It takes the skills, discipline, and leadership our soldiers develop while serving part-time in their communities. It guarantees them job interviews and potential employment with our outstanding partners after or even during their service. It's a true win-win. The Guard produces better citizens, and PAYS helps those citizens build strong civilian careers right here at home. Today, by signing this memorandum of agreement, the City of Statesboro becomes a PAYS partner. This means our Georgia Army National Guard soldiers, active duty soldiers, and reservists who choose to live and work here will have priority to access career opportunities. Mayor McCollar, I keep saying, want to say call you Major McCollar, but Mayor McCollar, thank you for your visionary leadership and opening the doors to the City of Statesboro for this partnership. Your commitment to economic development and quality of life makes this agreement even more meaningful. To the men and women of the Georgia Army National Guard, this is another example of how the Army, and especially the Guard, takes care of its own while giving back to the communities at home. Statesboro, thank you for your continued support of our soldiers and veterans. We look forward to a continued long partnership. Thank you.
Jonathan McCollar, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, is a native of Statesboro, Georgia. He was educated in the public school system of Bullitt County, where he graduated the class of 1992 from Statesboro High School. He went on to attend Georgia Southern University, go Eagles, earning a Bachelor's of Arts degree in history with an emphasis in American history. He attended the Jack Averett School of Graduate Studies, where he earned a master's degree in public administration with an emphasis in governmental and nonprofit organizations. Mayor McCollar is a devoted husband to the exceptional Adrian McCollar and is an adoring father of 5. Mayor McCollar recognized early on in his life a desire of public service and being a voice of the voiceless. This passion, being spurred by his Christian beliefs, has led him to become an active tool for the advocacy of social equality, economic development, and political activism. Along with this path, he has worn the hats of educator, business owner, community organizer, advocate, volunteer, mentor, and now mayor. In these capacities, he has received numerous awards and recognitions for volunteerism, leadership, and dedication. Mayor McCollar's entire career has been focused on public service. He has had the opportunity to work with organizations such as Educational Services of America, Goodwill Industries International, the American Cancer Society, and now Georgia Southern University. In each of these capacities, he was recognized for his ability to be an effective leader. Mayor McCollar's vision for the City of Statesboro is for the city to become a destination class city that is thriving economically with a culture of inclusion. He believes in common sense form of governance in which the city government works to foster an environment where businesses can thrive, the people can grow, and the quality of life is high. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to introduce you the Mayor of the City of Statesboro, Mayor Jonathan McCollar.
You know, you never know how little you've done until you have to go after these guys here, right? But I want to say thank you so much. The service that the men and women provide for our nation, we can't express our gratitude. You guys stuck with us through some very difficult moments. I think we all remember Hurricane Helene. It was a tough moment for our entire community. And I think that it's in these moments that we have to give applause where applause is due. So let's give them a round of applause. I believe that every human being that has the gift of life can serve in some capacity. Some of us may not be able to serve in the ways that others are able to serve, but I was raised on a belief. I was raised by my great grandmother. And the one thing that she taught me was that if you want to get far in life, you help someone. And I believe that our military branches embrace that. And I'm proud to say that, my brother decided to go a different route. He joined the United States Navy. But we are so proud of his willingness to serve our country. But I think that in this moment, especially during this time period when things seem so difficult, I think we have to remind ourselves that it's often that we have to recommit ourselves to something that's just greater than us. And so for me, in my entire life, it's always been my Christian faith. The work that I do, the positions that I take, it always goes back to my Christian faith. And it's a very simple faith. And what my faith teaches me is that you have to see the God in everyone. And when I say that, what I say is that God's genius is through our creation. Every time we look at one another, we should be able to see the genius in our Creator in every soul that we meet. And the best way to celebrate that genius is through service. And so through this partnership, what the city of Statesboro wants to say is not only thank you, but we want to stand beside you in every step of your soldier's journey. And when it's time for them to come and be a part of our organization, we want them to know that we love them, we care for them, and we're going to support them 100%. Because that's who we are, not just as an organization, but as a community. We're going to stand beside our soldiers. We're going to be with them as they are with us through our most difficult times. And with that being said, we want to say thank you so much for all of the work that you have done. And it is our honor to be able to be a part of a partnership as great as this. Thank you.
At this time, we are going to sign the memorandum of agreement that solidifies our partnership with the city of Statesboro. Lieutenant Colonel Henderson will also present a certificate and a plaque to the city of Statesboro in behalf of the U.S. Army PACE program.
Thank you. That's the land. Tell us what to do. And I do want to, I hate to do this, but Colonel Fred, we want to say thank you. Colonel Fred is a hero of ours right here within our community. Colonel Fred, stand up, let everybody see it. Me and him got the same haircut. And we got the same Colonel Fred, thank you for having the vision to bring this together. And we thank you for everything that you're doing within the community. All right. All right, Demetrius, how bad did I mess up?
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Thank you. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this ceremony. Keep it up.
Yeah, Elaine, let's not do that, all right?
What?
Yeah.
Move the post?
Let's not do that.
Oh, put that for a while, yeah.
And we want to thank the community for their patience in that moment. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that our community supports what the United States Army and the National Guard does. So I just want to believe that. We're gonna go ahead and move forward. We do have a proclamation this morning. And the proclamation this morning is a presentation of a proclamation recognizing June 8th through the 12th, 2026 as Municipal Court Clerks Week. And the proclamation reads as follows. A proclamation by the Mayor and City Council of Statesboro, Georgia, in recognition of Municipal Court Clerks Week, June 8th through the 12th, 2026. Whereas municipal court clerks plays a significant role in ensuring the municipal courts preserve public safety and promote quality of life in the city of Statesboro and local municipalities across the state. And whereas the procedures for the Statesboro Municipal Court operations are set forth by the Uniform Rules of Municipal Court and other laws of the state of Georgia. And whereas more people come in contact with the municipal court clerks than all other city services combined, and public impression of the city of Statesboro judicial system is largely dependent upon the public's experience in municipal court. And whereas municipal court clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the Statesboro Municipal Court is committed to the notion that our legal system is based on the principle that an independent, fair, and competent judiciary will interpret and apply the laws that govern us. Municipal court clerks act in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments and significant role the municipal court clerks play in preserving the public confidence, integrity, and impartiality of the judiciary. Now, therefore, in witness whereof, I, Jonathan McCullough, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, do recognize the week of June the 8th through the 12th, 2026 as Municipal Court Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal court clerk and municipal deputy court clerks for their vital services they perform and exemplary dedication to the communities they represent and serve. So proclaim this second day of June 2026. And then I know we have some clerks in here. We're going to allow you to say a word or two before we present you with the proclamation.
And Ms. Cindy should join the
Yeah.
supervisor. You have at least 5 minutes to speak.
Not aware I was supposed to say anything,
Yeah,
Cindy.
Ms. Strong is up this Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning. We do have our municipal court clerk, Haley McGlamory, with us today, as well as our 2 deputy clerks, Christy Carver and Jasmine Perkins. Please come up here. And this is the 3rd year that we will be recognizing the municipal court clerks. The governor put this in place 3 years ago. So.
Thank you.
Good job.
How y'all doing? Y'all doing?
It's okay, buddy.
It's good to see you. Yeah, hey, you doing?
Take 2 steps back.
2 steps back.
This is council members.
All right, I thought it was the clerk. What side? This side? Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's take one more just for good measure. 1, 2, 3. Let's go, thank you. Congratulations.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, public comments in regards to the agenda.
You want to sign up, Mr. Mayor?
Okay. All right, and then we'll go down to agenda item 5, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. Our consent agenda consists of our budget work session, our work session, our council minutes, and executive sessions from the May the 12th and 19th meetings. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and so we're going to move down to agenda item 6, which is the public hearing to solicit input on the proposed FY 2027 budget for the city of Statesboro. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Penny, if you would.
Mayor, members of council, if you give me a moment, we need to get to monitors and so on. You have in your packet, the presentation I'm about to make. If you can give me the clicker.
Thank you.
Okay, it's not laying it down. Can you go full screen?
Is this where you want it?
Yeah.
No, we need the presentation that's in the council pack.
I don't know.
That's not it. I'm gonna go ahead and get started and y'all can catch up with me. Mayor, member of the council, thank you for this opportunity to let me just share with you, our budget presentation. And as, I shared with the council, I just wanted to share with the public, in my almost 45 years of public service management, this was probably one of the most difficult budgets I've ever had to put together and to present to the mayor and the council. And so this morning, I just want to share with you that basically this budget has no additional personnel. It is a maintenance budget. There are some things that I'll show you as it relates to our personnel. So am I doing that, Lane, or
You are. I was trying to get full screen, but I'm not sure if it'll do any of this to you.
let's just go with it as it is.
We can read it.
Yeah, let's just go with it. Okay, there it is. So with our budget, our objectives in this FY 2027 budget is emphasis on public safety. And it's to always, we want to retain and recruit exceptional employees. we're only able to do what we do as a city organization because of the men and women that work for the city. We don't make a product, basically we provide services. We also have an emphasis on utility infrastructure. However, council decided about 3 years ago that we would emphasize utility infrastructure in natural growth areas. That is the most economical way for us to be able to expand our infrastructure, basically our water and sewer systems. And then we also want to emphasize growing our tax base and growing our revenue. The FY 2027 budget highlights basically it's a 5% total budget increase from 2026. There's a 5% general fund and fire fund combined increase. What happens is we've always kept our fire fund separate and from our general fund, and the general fund would make transfers into the fire fund. However, once the decision was made by Bullock County to eliminate the fire district, basically all of the funding for the fire department comes out of the general fund. However, we continue to maintain the separate fund for right now because at some point council might decide that we want to implement a fire service fee, but not in this budget. We also have we had increased transfer from the general fund to the fire fund, and you see it went from $3.2 million to $7.4 million dollars. This budget is balanced, and again, there's no increase in personnel. When we look at compensation and benefits highlights, basically the federal inflation rate as of March 2025 was 2.8%. And as of March 2026, it's at 3.3%. And our pay plan adjustment recommended in this budget is 2%. Our consultant recommended 3.5%, and we could not recommend a 3.5% pay adjustment for our employees. However, we are still in a tough market with Hyundai and all of the suppliers that if we don't pay our people, we will see movement away from us in a negative manner. In the last 2 years, we've had our turnover has been less than 5% for those past 2 years. And we also continue to pay for performance for our employees. That means our employees are evaluated on the anniversary date, and if they perform well, then they have an opportunity to get an increase in their pay. In this budget, we are recommending a 15% increase in employee-related premiums. What that means is, for the past 7 years, we have not increased our health costs that our employees pay. But in this budget, our employees will be contributing more toward the cost of the health insurance. So our current and future opportunities are to continue to position Statesboro for growth in this region. We want to grow our downtown city center. We want people to enjoy coming into our city center. And we also want to keep our pay plan up to date. And why that is important, if you remember 2 years ago, we had 18 openings in the police department. When we adjusted our pay plan, adopted a new pay plan for all of our city employees, and today I can tell you we have no openings in our police department. What you see here is just a budget in brief, and I'm not going to run through all those numbers. Our total budget is over $100 million, but when you look at the actual operations of the budget, you see the general fund, and the general fund is where general tax dollars come in. And you can see that the general fund budget is basically $25,156,235. And then you have the fire fund, and that's $8.6 million. And so if you combine those two, that gets us about $32 million for that general fund. And then you see the water fund for the water and sewer fund is $11.5 million. The stormwater fund is just under $1 million, $936,000. Natural gas is about 4.8, just under $5 million. The solid waste collection fund is 4.2 million, and the solid waste disposal fund is 4.8 million. Again, looking at, I just shared with you, budget in a brief, our total budget for fiscal 2027 is $111,316,250. But then we have some internal fund expenses, and so that brings that down to total expenditures about $90,148,000. And then you have to combine our capital fund, and that's $27 million. And then you see the total operating funds at $62 million. So revenue trends, what we see is a 22.8% overall increase in the general fund revenues. And then you, for the purpose of preparing this budget, we are using a 10% property tax digest growth. I will say that that is lower than what we are receiving right now from the county. That number could actually go up. And before we have to set the tax rate, we will know what that property tax digest is. It could be as much as 13%. And if that happens, then the amount of funds that we need from property taxes would also decline. When you look at our property tax millage rate, the yellow is the city of Statesboro. Our current property tax rate is 8.65, and I'm not going to be able to read those numbers from here, but I think the orange is Bullock County school system, and the red is Bullock County. So when you look at the current local property tax, Bullock County sits at 11.35 mills. The Board of Education sits at 10.4 mills, and the city of Statesboro is at 8.625 mills. Property tax revenue and what we're projecting is what we need in property tax. And again, I can't see that number, but you can see it. It's about $14 million that we need in property tax revenue. And then we also receive revenue from our vehicle property tax. And that number fluctuates, and you see in 2027, all of this depends on people buying cars. And so sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. And then we also saw this year an increase in the franchise fee revenue. And basically that franchise fee revenue comes from Georgia Power. And so it's been trending upward, and we anticipate another increase in 2027. As far as debt service is concerned, and if y'all just give me a minute, and I can't tell you, I can't see it from there, but I can see it right here. I got it. Thank you. I appreciate my council members helping me out here. Basically, the city doesn't have a lot of debt, but in 2027, what you see is general fund debt the debt service is less than $300,000. But then when you look at the old register TAD, we have debt that we're paying on the money that we borrowed to be able to put the infrastructure in for the old register TAD. Everybody was doing Publix, but that's because the city council issued debt in order to be able to put all the roadway and infrastructure in to make that project happen. And then we have our URA. Basically, we, in 2021, we borrowed $4.5 million to be able to redo Littlemore Park, Greater Street Park. And so that's the debt payment, but that should be paid off within the next 5 years. I think we financed that for 10 years. And then the last one is we issued debt for, we actually haven't closed on it yet, the debt for Fire Station number 3. And that's what that last bar, the orange bar is for. So balancing the budget, we're going to recommend using $205,210 in general fund to balance the general fund budget. And so we have an increase in expenditures in the general fund, raises the dollar amount required to meet the targeted 25% fund balance. And let me explain what happened there. We have what, and a lot of us like to refer to it as the rainy day fund, but it's our fund balance, it's our reserve funds. And council adopted a policy many years, and this council is trying to abide by that policy. We like for that percentage to be 25%. And that fund is important because if we have a storm, a Helene comes through, and we get beat up and we have to put the city back together, that reserve fund is important to be able to pay expenses until FEMA comes in and reimburses us. Like, we probably going to receive about $2 million from Hurricane Helene. We received $1 million already, but we're still waiting on another $1 million to come. But so that fund balance is important. But because our general fund has been growing, the amount of funds that would be needed in order to meet that 25% would be about $8 million. Right now, our general fund balance is sitting at about $6.7 million. And this is just a breakdown of those fund balance numbers. And you can see we have total fund balance, all funds, of about $50 million. But in the general fund, we're at $6.85 million for 2025. I can't tell you what the fund will be at the end of 2026 because we're still in that year. What has happened at the end of the year when we close out all of our expenditures, then we'll know what that amount will be. But we do know with the general fund sitting at about $32 million, it will not be $8 million. The other reason it won't be that is because council did a new pay plan and our employees are staying with us, which is a good thing. When we were carrying 18 vacancies in the police department, we were able to build fund balance, but we were also not able to do things to protect our community. By having our police officers on hand, we're able to do a lot more to secure our community. So let me just highlight the general fund here. Basically, the general fund, 75.7% of the general fund and the fire budget is salary and benefits costs. So in this budget, what you're seeing is an increase in expenditures, salaries and benefits. That includes a pay adjustment, but it also includes funds for pay for performance for the employees. We also have salaries and benefits for the fire fund, and that's $252,000. The other thing we have, some of you might like it, some might not, the police flock equipment. That equipment has been, that's technology, and so we've been able to have the flock equipment, and we had a grant that paid for that. That grant goes away, so we have to pay the $170,000 out of the general fund. I cannot stress to you enough the importance of flock. Flock is technology for policing. Last week we had a kidnapping that occurred. We were able to save someone because we were able to pick that person up on flock. We also have the electricity for streetlights, an additional $100,000 for that. We have to pay credit card fees, that's $80,000. And then the FUSES annual contract, I think we have some FUSES, we have some grant money for that as well, and that is $80,000. The importance of FUSES utilizes video equipment, technology from different companies that might have videos, and when we have a crime that occurs, if they agree to provide us that information, then we use that information in order to be able to put together information about possible suspects. We have to recognize in our society, sometimes people are willing to be witnesses, but the flock equipment and FUSES provides us that information without people feeling that they're being put in jeopardy or their lives are being put in danger because they have provided information to our police officers. So we have an increased transfer to the fire fund from the general fund, and again that's $3.2 million to $7.485 million. is just a percentage of increase for the general fund and fire fund, is a 5% increase. Water and sewer fund, 3% increase. We did not recommend increasing any water and sewer funds. No other fees are being recommended for increase this year. The stormwater fund's 5.8%. The gas fund is down a negative 6.9%. The solid waste disposal fund is up 10.9%. But overall, for these operating funds, you're looking at a 3.5% increase. So the Statesboro Fire Fund, $8.6 million. We are building Fire Station 3. It should be completed sometime late July, first part of August, but probably ribbon cutting sometime in September. It's anticipated, again, late summer. Some people might say, well, why are you building the fire station if you're having financial concern? The funding for the fire station comes from SPLOST, the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. The funds that come out of that sales tax cannot be used to help with operations. It can only be used for capital purposes. And that's why we appreciate our citizens for voting for SPLOST, because it provides a tremendous opportunity for us to keep our equipment up to date and for us to be able to build fire station. Fire Station 3 is strategically located so that we can deploy our staffing and our equipment. And so that's why we'll continue to move forward. It took us 23 years to get to this point. We've been talking about Fire Station 3 for 23 years, and now we're building it. We are recommending that we complete the study for feasibility of a fire service fee. However, council opted not to try to implement a fire service fee because of the litigious concerns that might occur. And we don't want to get in the middle of a budget and not be able to pay our folks, and we can't raise funds in the middle of the year. We have 69 firefighters, and some folks say, well, why do you need 69 firefighters since you no longer serve the fire district? I'll just simply say to you, we needed those 69 firefighters to serve the city of Statesboro. They have to be deployed so that when those engines roll, we can equip them so that we have at least 4 people on a piece of equipment, which means that you have better fire protection. When that piece of equipment gets on a fire scene with 4 people on that apparatus, that means they can begin immediate interior attack. If they don't have 4 people on a piece of equipment, they have to wait for another piece of equipment to get there. In the meantime, your house is burned. And so with this, NFPA requires 2 in, 2 out. So with 4 pieces of people on a piece of equipment, we can get there and provide better, efficient service for our citizens. We also increased the number of dispatchers. We have 4 dispatchers, and that is for fireground management. Once we get on the fire scene, it is really important that we are able to manage our manpower, staffing, not manpower, our staff, so that we, for safety reasons, we know where people are. And before we added the dispatchers, that filled to the 911 center, and they had lots of other things going on. So council increased our dispatchers for fire and police so that we could have better fireground management. Y'all, excuse me, I'm sorry. So with our Statesboro Fire Service Fund, last year we lost when the county decided to dissolve the fire district. The city of Statesboro lost $2.75 million in funds that were coming to us. So that decision impacted our budget. We also have the expiration of the SAFER grant. That grant runs out in August. That was $2.1 million, about $700,000 a year for 12 additional firefighters. So once those funds go away, we still have to maintain those firefighters. Loans from so the way we paid for this year, 2026, when the fire district went away, we did internal service fund loans to the fire fund. We took $1.8 million from the water fund, water and sewer fund, from the solid waste collection fund, and natural gas fund, $700,000 from solid waste collection fund, and $680,000 from the natural gas fund. But when we did that, I shared with the council, that was a one-time only, because we could not sustain those loans for every year. Plus, we need to pay those funds back to those funds. Just good financial management. So the water and sewer fund is $12.3 million. Again, there's no increase in water and sewer rates. And at some point, the mayor and council will need to make some decision on the future wastewater treatment plant. But right now, our current plan is doing good, but the future waste treatment plant is $100 million. Stormwater fund, again, $1 million, no increase in stormwater rate proposed. We maintain the fund reserve, and we implement essential capital projects. We have a number of projects that we're working on, but thankfully, we've been building up some reserve that we can accomplish some good projects. The natural gas fund, $5.8 million. Again, there's no increase in natural gas rates proposed, and we'll continue to pursue opportunities for expansion and system growth. We'll say to you, we are at capacity for our natural gas system. So right now, we got a big industry that decided that they wanted to come to Statesboro and they needed natural gas. We are at our maximum capacity for natural gas. So we do need to build a line down in the southern part of Bullock County, but that's about almost $25 million. So right now, we're looking for opportunities to be able to do that, but that's not included in this budget. We want to continue to study expansion of that main trunk line. That's what I was just explaining to you. The solid waste collection fund is $5.5 million. There's no increase in solid waste collection fees, and we continue to meet increasing service demands with the growth in our city. The solid waste disposal fund is $5.2 million. And again, there's no increase in solid waste fund proposed, but we are in the process of expanding our inner landfill. I think we bought 34 acres last year, and so we're in the process of expanding that. As far as capital projects, priorities, again, housing rehabilitation. We will use ARPA funds. We will continue to look for more grant funds to do housing rehabilitation. Sewer installation in unserved areas with ARPA funds. We were able to serve 3 neighborhoods that have been in the city for over 20 years. We do have funds in our capital improvement plan to get another area. I think in 2 years, we'll be ready to move in the eastern part of Marywood. That's a big area, but they've been in the city for years, and they don't have sewer in that area. We want to enhance roadways, install sidewalks, and improve intersections to accommodate growth. In summary, the city's budget is financially sound. We have strong reserves in the enterprise fund, continued growth in property values we need. This budget reflects a nominal tax base increase from new developments. We think probably in this budget, there's probably about $700,000 in revenue from the new apartments, the new houses, charm, things like that. Those could help contribute to our budget this year. In summary, general fund. Balance in the budget using general fund. Fund balance again is $205,000 that I explained earlier. We have an increase in expenditures in the general fund raises the dollar amount required to meet the targeted 25% fund balance. I will say we are more than likely going to fall below that 25% mark. And we are not recommending that you do anything because we think we believe it's just going to be a 1-year effect, but you'll see as we go a little bit further. The fund balance for FY 2026 will be less than that 25% due to the increase in the transfer to the fire department. In summary, the city must continue to expand the tax base, Voluntary annexations add to the tax base. New commercial and retail development help to grow the tax base. And the city has currently approved zoning for new residential units and commercial requests. I think we have over 6,000 units, and more than 50% of those have gone vertical. Final conclusion. To balance the city's budget for fiscal year 2027 will require a 2.129 mil increase. This increase is due to the county's decision to dissolve the fire district. This year's floss is estimated to be $1.4 million, which is a good thing. The increase will be offset next year by the floss funds, which are estimated at $3.5 million. So basically, what we would recommend is a millage rate increase this year, but next year, we should be able to roll the millage rate back to where we are today. It's the 1 year impact in order to be able to fund the fire department. And whenever you look at, again, final conclusion, I know y'all said, when is he gonna finish? We use the home of 225,000, and when you look at it, under this year, that the tax would be $759, and under the 2027 budget, it'd be $1,096 due to the recommended tax increase. This is the public hearing. Mayor, member of the council, I conclude my presentation and will answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? All right. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right. Is there anyone here to speak for or against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, you want to open it up for council discussion? Any discussion about council?
Thank you for a good summary. I'm relieved it's better than it was when we started a couple of weeks ago, when we found out we can get part of the floss this year. That's going to make the increase less than it would have been otherwise. So thank you for staying open to every opportunity to hold it down.
And hopefully this part will get better.
Right.
Because the next
Tax items.
tax, and we might get a little bit more from floss. We just don't know until we find the rules.
We have to approve numbers next time, and then we'll set the millage rate. We'll have more of that information later. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion for council? Okay. I do want to be clear on the budget. And what I want to be very clear about the budget is, had not that agreement between the city of Statesboro and Bullitt County, if that was not abruptly resolved after 47 years, we would be rolling our millage rate back today from 8.625 to 7.225. That was an agreement that was in place for 47 years. 18 months ago, we warned the community that that was a move that was going to increase the cost of fire and be a heavier burden for all citizens in Bullitt County. And 18 months later, that's where we are. When we fought to encourage the community to adopt floss, which we believe was going to be, which is a tax saving mechanism for homeowners within our community. Our hope is not by next year, our millage rate will be less than 6 mills. And so that would have dropped us tremendously. And I say that because I want us to be completely transparent about why we are where we are as it relates to our budget. And what I want to say is this right here. We believe in open, transparent government here at the city of Statesboro. If you got any questions regarding anything within our community, and it's affiliated with the city of Statesboro, come to us. Social media has no idea what they're talking about. They do not come to meetings. They do not confer with any of the elected officials. These folks go out and get open records requests and then come back with the wrong conclusion. And so what we want to say is we want to continue to be very transparent, very open. You can call me anytime, 912-225-7136. That's my personal cell number. If you have any questions. Our goal here at the city of Statesboro is to increase the quality of life for everybody that calls the city home, and do everything we can to make sure that we are a prosperous community. And we believe that the only way that we can do that is to operate in fact, and to be transparent with the people we are charged to serve. We work for you. And so with us understanding that we work for you, we believe that a part of our work is to be honest with you. And so with that being said, we will have another public hearing on the 16th. We encourage everyone to come back out. If you got questions that's not answered today, definitely come back out on the 16th, and we'll continue to answer those questions to the best of our ability. With that being said, if there's no further discussion from council, is there a motion to move the budget forward?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to go down to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing and second reading for consideration to approve ordinance 2026-101, an ordinance amending the Unified Development Code to create the zoning classifications and requirements for the development of technological facilities and data centers. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Pitney, we want to ask you to reconsider that, and provide whatever support personnel.
I'm gonna call on Justice.
Okay.
He's our resident expert.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
thank you.
I realize that, it's a little unusual for us to have a second hearing on these ordinances, so I do appreciate the opportunity to speak in regards to it. What's been brought before you today does include the language revisions that were discussed at our last meeting, such as the elimination of hyperscale facilities, which is that 200-acre kind of maximum development. So everything has been scaled back down to 50 acres for a maximum size. It also includes more robust requirements for sound studies that are done on these facilities. And it includes some of the changes that we discussed in regards to the environmental standards, such as the addition of bioswales and other opportunities to allow stormwater to be retained on sites. Mr. Penny, I'd like to, hand it back to you. I did receive a notification this morning for some additional public comment. I don't know how you'd like to respond.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, Mayor, I do want to just add a couple of things to what Justin just shared. First, we did receive.
Yeah, I got it.
You're gonna do that. I think the significant piece for the public to understand as far as what is on the table is, if council approves this ordinance, it does not provide a use by right for data centers.
Explain to them what use by right actually is.
A use by right would mean that if a data center wanted to come here, they would just say, here we are, and that zoning is set, and you couldn't stop them. But the special use permit requires that every applicant for a data center has to come before this body. The mayor and the council gets to decide whether they can come or not. So the council gets the final word on whether that data center can locate in our community. Even if you adopt this ordinance and you decide that you don't want a data center, then you don't have one. But that is what the special use permit is. And if they establish one, if they go away, that use goes away.
That's correct.
And then you still have another opportunity to decide whether you want another data center if you have one that came before you. So I just wanted everyone, it's not the Wild Wild West that the data centers can just come. The council gets a chance, and so the public has an opportunity to reach out to their council members and to share their thoughts. The other thing is that any concerns that people may have about water or wastewater, those kinds of things are still things that we would have an opportunity to investigate.
That's right.
And we would share with council. If we found something that would be detrimental to our water system, our wastewater system, we would say to you, we can't recommend this facility. We have not, of the facilities that we have visited and studied, what we've learned is that data centers have become a little bit more efficient. They're using these closed loop systems so you don't have, so it's not as big a water user. But staff would be responsible for looking at all of those technical issues and would be able to advise council before they had to make a decision on that special use permit. So I just want to make sure the public understood. Council adopts the ordinance, and it's their prerogative whether they want to do it today or not. They can still, they have a right to deny it or approve it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, and so, thank you. Yeah. And so is there anyone here to speak before this request?
Why open the door, Dalton?
Come to the podium, say your name, and this is for.
For it,
Yeah.
not against it, right?
No, not yet.
I'm just saying, this will be
for or
neutral.
against?
Overall, after studying what I've studied, I'd probably be against. However,
Okay.
why entertain it at this point? What's the point of
What's your
entertaining
name? What's
it?
your
My
name?
name's Noel Burnson.
Okay.
I've been to your office. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
how
have
are
to
you
get it
doing?
out, yeah, we have to
Yeah.
get it out in front of everybody.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, why entertain it at all at this point when you don't even have anybody knocking at your door? Just wondering.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll answer that. If you engage me, I like to look at things down the road. And so what the thought process is, when I first was introduced to this, my immediate reaction was that we don't want any data centers in our community. That was my immediate reaction, right? And so, but I do not believe in making decisions in vacuums because I did not have enough information to make an educated decision. And so what we charged the staff with doing was to take us to see hands-on what does data centers look like. And so the staff put together an opportunity for us to go to the Atlanta area, where there's a lot of data centers, in areas that I did not even realize that I was looking at data centers. And so the first place they took us to was to Social Circle. And so the first one we saw, and I always get this wrong, but I want to make sure, that was Facebook. Was that the Meta? That was Meta. They had a hyperscale, huge facility. Now, I want to be very clear with this. This is a huge, huge facility. Probably one of the biggest facilities I've ever seen in my life. We went to the border of where the facility was. There was no noise that we could hear at all from this facility. And what we understood about the facility was that it was a part of a closed loop system that continued to use recycled water so that it kept it clear. Leaving there, we went to we visited some edge centers, which are much, much smaller. And so these facilities basically look like office buildings. And what we found out is that they actually are littered throughout the Atlanta area. Some inside city limits, some in shopping areas. There's one that you can look at it and think that it's your traditional office building. And so based on the information that we were able to find, is that many of the things that we thought was associated with data centers was not the case for what we were seeing. And so what we understood with this particular ordinance is that we didn't want anything to provide noise pollution within our community. We did not want anything that was going to that was going to dramatically disturb our environment in such a way that it would be a long-term hindrance towards our community. And so what our decision was to work to put together an ordinance that safeguards our community. And ultimately, if there was a decision for one to come, it has to come back to this body. Why is that important? That is important because this body, all of us are citizens here. Some of us born and raised, some of us moved here, but we are all citizens. This is the Statesboro community answer for citizen oversight, right? And so what this special use allows for us to do is that if there's a project that comes, then we're able to say whether or not we want that project or not. What we did not want, and I want to be as transparent as possible, when we first got this ordinance, it was not a 50-acre footprint. It was a 200-acre footprint. We said, no, we don't want that. And so we immediately shrunk that from 200 acres to 50. Why did we say 50? We see developments in our community quite often that's in that 20, 30, 40, 50 acre range. And as we continue to annex into the city, that's not going to be odd. The other thing is that the technology that's associated with data centers is continuously getting better. And this is the mayor's thought process. The mayor's thought process is that as the technology increases, the footprint is going to shrink. That's what the thought process is. And with technology, we've seen that. The first cell phones we got was huge, right? Now we got our cell phone, our camera, and everything all in one device. So the thought process is that as that shrinks, that's able to help us as well to continue that reduced footprint size within our community. And then the other side of this, we have to recognize that there is an economy that we have to think about as well. And so when we crunch the numbers for our data centers, if we were able to get an edge center within our community, that's roughly about $2 million a year that the city would see coming in. Why is this important? That $2 million would allow us to alleviate the tax burden on our citizens. And so if that revenue was able to come in, instead of coming back and saying, well, we have to raise our millage rate to do X, Y, and Z, that revenue now allows us to say, you know what, instead of having to raise our millage rate, we're able to use those funds to do X, Y, and Z. And here's the other part to it too. Let's just say the data center comes, right? And it's an edge center. And they say after 5, 6, 7 years that they're going to move. Well, that facility now can be outfitted for something else. And so it's not this huge facility that's sitting at the edge of our community and saying that and we don't know what we're going to do with it. Now the entrepreneur can come in or a developer can come in and say we're going to take that facility and transition it into something else. And what I want to be very clear about is that we've been working on this for months. This is not no knee-jerk ordinance or anything along those lines. We've been working on it for months. The staff has been briefing us. We've gone to Atlanta. We've talked with the stakeholders and individuals that's associated with it. And so we've got a good breadth of knowledge. And so what we believe is that the ordinance that we have addresses all of the concerns that our community may have. And at the end of the day, my thought process is that if a project comes and we don't like it and we're concerned about how much water it's going to be using, how much this is, if we don't think that the environmental footprint is not what we want, it allows us to say something that's very powerful. And that powerful thing is, no. That's what it allows us to do.
But that's just for the city of Statesboro.
Just for the city of Statesboro. It don't have anything to do with the county. And to be honest with you, if the county decided to do a hyperscale situation, we don't have any bearing on that. But this is just for the city of Statesboro. And what we know is that we can't hold all of those, that big situation.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's very specific for the city.
Do you feel like you're in better control?
Yes.
By having this?
Yes. And at the end of the day, we get to say no. If we don't want it, and if we're looking at this and saying we don't believe we can do X, Y, and Z, we have the ability to say no. But it also puts us in a position that if we get one, that we feel that we can meet all of these needs that we want within our community, we're able to benefit from it economically, which ultimately means our citizens are able to win. You know, the more that we're able to have, the more that we're able to do within the community. Yeah, but that was a great question. I love the way you phrase that. Is that, go ahead.
Could I just share one with
Go ahead.
Mayor did a great job. One thing, right now, we have no zoning that would allow for a data center. So without having the zoning in place, we can't even start a conversation. And so, just like, and I see someone clapping hands. 2 years ago, we had no zoning for townhomes. And we had to get that zoning in place so that we could start the conversation. So this is a requirement in order to even begin the conversation. We don't know that will happen, but this is what would be required to even start that conversation. The zoning has to be in place.
And I do, and for council, for real, we want to, do a point of privilege as there. If there's anybody else that want to speak in this space, and this is either for or against. Yeah, come right on.
My name is Stephen. This is the first council meeting I've ever been to.
Right. What's your last name, Steve?
McDaniel. So I apologize if I stumble over my words. I just want to.
Stephen, we family.
We're all family. So basically, it's almost it seems to me like a smoke show. You stick this big number up there, 200 acres. There's not even a 200 acre. Is there a 200 acre tract in the city of Statesboro?
It's a 300 acre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize. So I don't know where that is, but it just seems like a smoke show. You're going to give me this big number and then give us a smaller number, and then we're all going to be like, oh yeah, that sounds terrific. So having said that brings it into what? What are you going to annex something? Go to the county and annex land, from the county and annex it to the city of Statesboro.
We don't know what it is.
Exactly, I know. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem very transparent. And I understand it's an ordinance. You're trying to get it approved, but it doesn't seem like the people have much say in it. This is, like I said, this is the first time I've been up here. So what basically you're going to do, you're going to make an ordinance, and then you're going to ask all these people to supply tax money. Actually, you're not going to ask them. You're going to tell them that they're going to supply tax money to provide infrastructure for these facilities. So you're not asking, you're telling them. Who's going to profit from that? Yeah, you get $2 million a year from this facility. Not saying it is a facility that's coming, but basically, you're going to tell us that we need to put this infrastructure in because that's what I've seen. Hey, yay, nay. Like I said, I might be coming up here and sound like a moron, but I'm going to try to get my point across.
Stephen, let me be clear.
Okay.
We thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay? So however you say it, whatever you need to say, it is absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine.
Well, basically that's what I'm up here just shooting ideas out. That's pretty much all it is.
Okay. And so, Stephen has brought up some very good points. And Stephen, we want you to keep coming back. Our job is to be transparent and to be as open as possible with the entire community. And what I said earlier is that we've been working on this for months. So we've had work sessions that the public is able to come to. And this right here is actually our second reading on this particular ordinance. So we encourage not just you, but everybody to be a part of it. If you got any questions, Lane is really good. If you're at home and you can't get here, and you can watch it online. Elaine has been really, really good answering questions that's on our Facebook feed when we do go live. So and this is just not for you. This is for everyone within the community. Place your questions there so that you're able to get the answers taken care of. And so you brought up a great question about infrastructure. Whatever infrastructure that this facility may need, that's at their cost. It's not on us. And one thing that we're excited about what the state of Georgia has done is made sure that they wrote into their state law that if there's any infrastructure needs that entity may need, they are responsible for the cost of that. So our citizens would not bear that particular cost.
So kind of like Publix, that was.
No, Publix is part of a tax allocation district. And so with Publix, what that was is that we used the funds in that tax allocation district to be able to build out the infrastructure as far as roads and things of that nature. With the Ed Center, that would not be the case.
So
everything would be at cost of them.
So running the, like say, infrastructure, water, gas, natural gas, that would be paid by them.
Yeah, that's not them.
Okay.
They gotta get those tap fees, they have to do all of that. Yeah, we ain't paying.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Coming up here, that's all I want to say.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. I'm gonna wait. Come on. Come on up. You're doing good.
Frankly, Mr. Mayor, I'd be doing better if I didn't have to be here.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Kiki Cannon. I am a resident of District 1. I will start out by saying that I suggest that if the council truly cares to hear the broader opinions of its citizenry, they should consider holding certain meetings, such as on this ordinance, at times which do not restrict participation in the civic process to a privileged few. On the subject of data centers, I do have prepared remarks, but I will say that some of the things that Mayor McCollar has said since I've been here have disturbed me. It does seem that the council has been given a lot of corporate propaganda. I do not hear where you have said you have spoken to any academics, any independent economists, anyone who study these data centers, their impact, or the technology they support outside of the corporate structure of the corporations who are proposing them and, wishing to bring them into communities such as ours. So, that being said, I am an advocate for technology when it is used in the service of humanity. Mr. Penny, you cannot compare an ordinance for data centers to an ordinance for a townhouse. Housing is a human right. Data centers and generative AI are a corporate grift. However, after much study and consideration into data centers and generative AI, I must object to the construction of these centers no matter their size. I am compelled to this position by both my personal ethics and those espoused by my spiritual tradition. This is not a NIMBY situation. I do not want these in anyone's backyard. Not in this city, state, nation, or planet. These centers and the so-called artificial intelligence programs they support will soon see their business bubbles implode, according to the majority of academics and economists who study them. And they will leave communities taken in by their grift to deal with the economic and environmental fallout that they will leave behind. Communities before us have learned time and time again that these centers cause damage to their local air quality, pollute their water supplies, increase their electrical bills for the citizenry, and give a host of other harms. And they never, ever deliver on a single economic benefit that is promised by the companies that are proposing them. And I'm going to say that not even Cliff's Notes could list all of the economic, environment, and indeed ethical issues that these data centers and the technology they support bring up within a paltry 3-minute span in front of a city council. But all of the benefits that they would bring to a community like Statesboro can be given to you in less than a nanosecond. So I urge you to please protect the city that you have sworn to serve by rejecting any pathway to building data centers within the city limits of Statesboro. Thank you.
Anybody else for audience? Okay. All right, go right. Come right up. And I do want to be clear, for our audience, any data center that will come here will actually plug into existing water infrastructure for the city of Statesboro. So it wouldn't be digging into any other form, any well or anything along those lines. And I want to make sure I got this number right, but the last time that I got this number, I believe the city of Statesboro had the capacity to do 3 or 4 million gallons extra per day. What's that number now?
Yeah, around 4 million.
About 4 million. And so the city of Statesboro, the city of Statesboro infrastructure is actually built out to hold an additional 4 million gallons per day. We wouldn't dare give that to a data center, but just to kind of let you know that we are more than prepared. A lot of the time, the data that we're looking at, those communities were not ready to receive data centers. We are. And so we have and that's why we're using the Edge Center that will use, the footprint will be much, much smaller. And this is what we got to be very clear on. How many of you, by show of hands in here, how many of you have cell phones? Everybody raise your hands. I know you got one. Raise your hands. This is what's driving data centers, our cell phones. Every app that we have on our phone is supported by a data center. So whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're using Amazon, whether you're using whatever, this is what's driving data centers. And there's a data center that's, and when I say driving, I'm not excluding AI. AI is part of the new industrial revolution that we are facing, which I'm very concerned about the impacts of it. But let us be very clear. These cell phones that we have, the things that we have at our fingertips, that all of this right here supports data centers. And data centers is a part of the technological infrastructure.
Man will destroy himself right here.
Say that again.
Man will destroy himself. Says it in the Bible. I'm holding on myself. I'm just like y'all. This is our worst thing we ever done. Is this?
Yeah.
Man will destroy himself.
We'll give you a chance to talk. We got someone up here. But we have to be very clear. And again, I like to operate in truth. And we got to be very truthful. We use our very cell phones to communicate about the data centers that we are against. And these are the things that's pushing data centers. And this is nothing new. Data centers have been around 20, 30 years. Georgia Southern has had a we got a data center in our city right now. Right now. Right there on Georgia Southern's campus, we have a data center in our community right now. And what we're saying is the footprint that we're looking at will be very similar to what Georgia Southern already has. So, and what we're doing is saying, let us create the ordinance before it gets out of hand, and we can control it before it goes too far.
Do you agree?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Hannah Wilson. I had no intentions of speaking today. I will start off by saying that a lot of what you have said has made things make more sense to me. I did not have I didn't really know much about what y'all were asking. I will just say, with the woman before me, I would, what she was saying as far as, it does sound like y'all are just talking like the corporate world. I would ask that maybe y'all go into the communities and see exactly what they do bring, you know. I don't really know. All I know is I've read the same horror stories that I'm sure everybody else has. And that's where the concern comes from. You know, just, I would really, I'd like to know, so if one comes, will the price of electricity and everything go up for the citizens here, or do you know? Or how does that work?
Well, before data centers even came here, the price of electricity was going up, right?
Right. So is it going to go?
You know, what we can say is definitively is that any infrastructure that is needed for the data center would have to provide that, meet the cost of that and build it out.
So
okay?
basically, all of
And
the
so,
communities that have had to deal with the increases, they didn't have those.
yeah, a lot of the things that's being spoken of today was pre the implementation of the Georgia statute. And so we want to be very clear. The state of Virginia, they were probably one of the earlier states to start dealing with this. And so it was a lot of errors, a lot of flaws with that. What the state of Georgia has done is been very proactive as far as addressing energy needs and saying that no, that cost has to be put on the entity that's bringing it. And that's one thing that our Public Service Commission did a great job of doing. As far as our community, we want, what we're putting in doesn't even meet that scale, right? And so all of the things, all of the attributes that you guys are talking about, they're associated with hyperscale facilities, not these small, not these smaller facilities. We're talking about a hyperscale situation. We're nowhere near that, and I don't even know if we had the capacity if a hyperscale was to drop out of the sky and try to hook up to our water supply. I wouldn't want that. Right. And so what we're saying is that this is much smaller, something that can be, we can tap into existing infrastructure and be able to withstand within our community. But you know, a lot of the environmental things that we're looking at, as a matter of fact, if you go to Alpharetta, right just north of Atlanta, in a business district, it is. And I wish we have any pictures that we could pull up of what a air center would look like. Yeah. And we can pull that up so you can take a look at it. But it looks like a regular office building.
Right.
That's what we're talking about within our community.
Have y'all spoken to people who are actually living it and not the people who are going to be profiting from it?
We've got a great partnership with our Greener Borough team, and they've made a lot of great suggestions.
There were questions about it when I voted the other day. What was? Do we know? I don't. If I missed that, like what did the people say about that? You know what I'm talking about? There were questions about if we wanted data centers here. What was the outcome of that? Do we know?
Say that again. I'm not.
In the election.
In the election. Yeah.
In the election, what we said.
Yeah. What did the people say about that? What did they say?
Say that again.
I think that was just a Republican primary ballot question. I don't think that's a full picture of the entire.
Okay, it was Democrat, but yeah.
Was it too? Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think we voted it down.
Did we?
Yeah,
okay.
that's what my wife said.
Okay.
You always put it out there.
You might be married to the same person.
I just really wanted to get up here and say that I am against it. I don't know if y'all have asked the people of Statesboro or if y'all have already made the decision. But
Thank you. Yeah. Can they see that?
Yes.
Y'all see? Can y'all see that? Yes. That's what we're talking about bringing here. That's an office building. This is what we've been communicating. This is what we're saying that we have the ability to withhold within our community. No big, huge hyper center. No any of that. What we're saying is something like that. We can do that. What Facebook got going on, and I'm always on Facebook. I wouldn't want that within our community. I would be very concerned with that right there. And let me tell you, we literally, and I don't know if this is the one or not, and Ms. Barr and Tim, y'all can correct me wrong. I literally went to the building, put my ear on the building to see if I can even hear anything. Literally, put my ear on the wall, no sound. at all. And that's, and let me ask this question. How many of you have actually visited a data center by show of hands? Okay, so we got, you didn't look up there. Yeah, well, not staff. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. So we're not talking about no huge type situation. We're talking about something that looks very much like an office building and can be located in any kind. What we're talking about can be located in the old Dixon that we have over there. That's what we're talking about. And so what this allows us to do is that if that opportunity was presented, we have a right to say, yeah, we want it, no, we don't want it. And so, and that's why we're going the route that we're going, because ultimately it still allows this body to be able to say, yes, we want it and not. And we may run into a situation that we can get a data center and it could go into a Winn-Dixie. And if that's what that case is, that building's been sitting empty for what, how many decades? 2. We can plug it in there. And that's what we're talking. We're not talking about nothing huge, nothing along those lines. Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
I think the scare that we have in general would be, like, one aspect of it would be, okay, water. All right, so I've read some things where these places use tons of water. Now, you've talked about, and I've read as well, you're coming up with new ways to cool these systems, correct? All right, so the thing is, when you get right down to the water of it, what's the first thing God made? He made water. Then he put land in the midst of it, right?
Yeah.
How important is water? We're all 85% water.
Yeah.
That's what our body is. And water has memory. We're all in a circle, and it's all flowing to the sea, going to the sky, and starting over. Now, from what I understand, there's a concern about. They took one drop of water, and it held 100 CDs of information. One drop of water, 100 CDs of information. What you expose that water to can greatly affect the power of the water. You can look at a book called by Dr. Emoto, and it's about water. The whole thing's on water and the power of water and the effect words have on water. Well, what's the effect that data has on water? There's some things to be concerned about here. So as long as we're drawing, and this is what I hope, and it sounds like you're doing, draw a line down the middle of the page, and you write the pros on one side, and you write the cons on the other. If it's doing something to water, I don't care if it makes $100 million a month. We all got to drink. Y'all with me? We all got to drink. We need to drink. And we want our children to drink. We want their children to drink. We want our animals to drink. There's a great concern about that aspect of it. Now, we have all seen technology change and get better over time. And that's where I hope these are going. And before you consider doing it, if you just have the latest technology, the latest truth, factual information you can present to us, we're all for progress as long as it's true, real progress.
Okay. Thank you. Come on, Mr. Ray.
Good afternoon or morning. You casually mentioned when you were talking about data centers and their water usage that the city of Statesboro had, I think you said, over 100 million extra gallons that they could,
4 million.
4 million gallons that they could provide.
After this meeting, I'm about to go beg a senator for some money to help with infrastructure. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to let them know we got 100 million.
So you said that the city of Statesboro had approximately 4 million gallons of water that they could provide. I was at a house on South College Street last week. I turned on the faucet because I was speaking with the homeowner, and brown water came out of that faucet. Right now, you're not able to provide clean water to the people of the city of Statesboro.
That's I drink the water every day. And so what we have to be very clear about is we have a great water system here. And sometimes our system, like every other city system in the entire country, has to be flushed. Okay? And so that means sometimes you go to larger cities when they open up fire hydrants and things of that nature, it has to be flushed. And that's a part of the municipality when they are providing water to people within the community. And so I'm very proud, and I only drink city water outside of when I come here and I have this bottle up. And so we have to be very clear about that. And with that being said, And I want to be very clear. Me and my family been here since 1820. I would not do a damn thing to hurt this community. Period. 1820. I told you earlier that I live by my Christian faith. I mean that. I'm very transparent. I'm open and honest. And you may not, social media says a whole lot of stuff. And what I learned about social media is that those folks have no idea what they're talking about. None. And what I'm telling you, there's nothing I wouldn't do to protect this city. Nothing.
Thank you.
At all.
I believe that, Mayor McCullough, but I think you have your facts incorrect because I don't think you have.
We've literally gone to these facilities.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Yeah.
If I go to a prison, the prison guards are not going to be inmates in front of me. That doesn't mean it never happens.
No.
Okay.
Well, let's be clear.
I mean, I'm just saying, you are not always shown.
Come on,
My point being, and I'm sorry to go to the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
In my analogy there. However, if I am a corporation such as Meta attempting to sway a council full of decent people who are concerned in their community, I'm not going to show them.
We have not talked to any of those kind of people at all. And I think that's the assumption that's being made. We haven't talked to. We should, but they have no input on this. Let me tell you who we talked to. So let's be really clear. We've talked to our Green Borough Commission that sent us a whole bunch of stuff that they want to see us do. We went and talked to stakeholders that's in these communities where they currently are. We went and talked to the biggest corporation we talked to was Georgia Power. And Georgia Power came in and said, no, they got to, we recognized through the PSC that they were increasing energy costs. And so now what the PSC and the state has passed is that they now have to incur all of those costs. The reason why what makes me more comfortable about this is that for us, they're not digging into our aquifer. They will be connecting to our current infrastructure that has the capacity to be able to handle an additional 4 million gallons per day. Will we give that to them? Heck no. We would not. And ultimately, with this special purpose, it allows us the ability to say yay or nay ultimately within our community. And so I think that we have to be very clear and transparent on that. Go ahead.
I will rebut one specific thing you said.
Mm-hmm.
Our phones are not what is driving the boom in the construction of these data centers.
Mm-hmm.
That is a common misconception and a common corporate talking point.
Okay.
What I will ask you to think back. Apple, Google, Facebook, they took over the entire planet without this giant need to build in mass scale these data centers. What is causing this current drive to come into communities such as ours are these, CEOs' pet projects of trying to push these generative AI programs into all of the applications on our phones and stuff. Those are being driven from corporate interests, not from anything a consumer is asking for. In fact, most consumers are trying to find ways to turn those off, to not use those, to not have those, to not engage with those. So this is not a consumer up thing, this is a corporate down thing. I would just like to give you that information and encourage you to go look into the academic and economic side of that from an independent level. So, thank you.
Thank you. Right here.
I just had another question about the aquifer. Where does the city water come from?
It comes from the aquifer, yeah.
So they're not exactly.
Floridian
Where does my water come from? The same aquifer. You're sitting there saying that they're not going to drill. They're just going to tap into the existing infrastructure, which ultimately comes from the same aquifer.
Mhm.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's basically what I was asking.
Yeah, and my point is that we're not giving these big corporations direct access to our aquifer. It has to come through us. That's another regulatory situation that we're.
But it ultimately comes from the same aquifer.
Yeah, and we have capacity. Yeah, and that's the one thing that we want to be very clear about. Anybody else? Okay, 4 right here. All right. All right, so let's go down to, let's have a motion to close the hearing. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, let's open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, thank you to everyone who cares and who showed up and who wrote a letter or sent an email, expressed your concerns about it. I want to say thank you to Greener Borough and to the other people who have sent information. And I appreciate that our staff has tried to accommodate and take into consideration, and we've had some modifications to make it safer and better. Heard a lot of good information today. But my situation is I just keep hearing more and more and realizing how much I don't know and feel like I need to know more. So even though I have invested a good bit of time and energy in trying to keep up and reading all of this, I'm not ready to vote for us to have an ordinance to allow a data center to come here. My biggest concern right now is the water, like most people. What I hear is that the big concerns with data centers are power, that we don't have much to do with. The city can't tell Georgia Power how much they can charge or who they can sell power to. So we don't have any way to impact that. We can impact noise, and we have the best we can see. As the mayor said, the ones we visited, the noise issue has apparently been dealt with pretty well. It's not the concern it was with the early centers, the ones we visited, you couldn't hear. We did get some input from Sierra Club, from science groups, from Greener Borough. And so we've dealt with those the best we could with parameters. We did expand, we modified last meeting to measure the volume, not just how loud it feels to your ear, but the lower registers that we don't know what damage it's doing to us. So the DCA, whatever, I forget the initials. But we did make it a little broader to try to control those lower registers that may be doing harm that you're not picking up with your ear. So we've controlled the ones that we can, but the water, I don't think we know enough yet. I'm concerned, the latest concern is this, it's great to have a closed loop system. So you give them water, hopefully gray water, not drinking water, but you give a new data center the water to set up their closed loop system. But after it's been going through for a while, it has absorbed a lot of the anti-scaling agents, the anti-corrosives, all that stuff. The water's picking up and it's making it grayer and dirtier all the time. And I don't know at what point they have to dump that and get more water.
I agree with you.
And I don't know at what point, I don't know that our system can handle that or needs to handle trying to clean up that water into the waste treatment before we discharge it back into the rivers and lakes. The city is responsible for providing clean water and for discharging clean water. That's one of our biggest jobs, and we do a good job with it. So I'm not going to be able to support this ordinance today because I don't think we have enough information yet.
Any further discussion from council?
Mayor, I need to address Ms. Clark's concern. And whether you vote for this ordinance today, that is council's decision. However, any water that is used, any water that is disposed of, they have to meet our guidelines in order for them to discharge it into our system. If their discharged water cannot meet those requirements, then they are required to go through a pre-treatment process. We will not take water that we cannot treat through our waste treatment plant. We have responsibility, and I don't know all the technical terms with our waste treatment plant, but we have certain bugs in our system. And if we let the wrong thing get into our system, it will kill the bugs
And then we can't release that water into the creek. So the company would have requirements for pre-treatment before they can discharge any water into our waste treatment system. Any restaurant, any industry today that operates inside the city limits of Statesboro, they have a requirement to deal with pre-treatment issues. And if sometimes they may have you might see a big pond sitting out in the back because they having to pre-treat that water before they can discharge it into our system. So again, a data center would have that same requirement, and all of those type issues would be dealt with during the development process. Those are questions that our staff would ask before you would even, we would bring it before you, because we deal with what we call the right start. And we're looking at all of those issues. But it obviously it's council's decision, but the technical staff is there to deal with all of these type of issues.
Yeah, and I think that has to be very clear before they can get the water back to us. It has to be in a certain condition, and so that's I think that has to be very clear. So, any further discussion by council?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We've been talking about data centers for. I just learned about the name data center last June at GMA in Savannah. And I was very anti for 6 months. I've been doing my homework, do my own personal homework. This ordinance puts us in the driver's seat. Some place wants to come to us, they don't tell us, well, we're gonna do this. We tell them, this is what you have to work within. And if they say, well, what can we do? No, we've given you what we will accept. And I believe we have addressed everything that will come up. And something else may come up, but we can address it at the time.
Yeah.
But we have right of refusal for anyone. This is not like an ordinance for housing where
automatic thing.
It's not automatic. Any place that comes and wants to put a data center here, they have to come to us first, and we have to vote on it. Could be yes or no.
Yeah. That's what anything else from council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to comment again in response. Thank you, Mr. Penny. I do value and appreciate staff. I know that all of us are working hard to do what we understand to be the best for all the citizens, all the people, the residents of Statesboro. So I appreciate that. This was a public hearing is where each of us gets to say, each of the public who want to sign up and say something gets to say what they think. Sometimes it turns into defending and persuading when we're trying to offer information. So each of us is doing the best we can to present what we think is the best thing for the city of Statesboro. And I'm not disappointed or attacking any other person elected or any person on the staff. I appreciate all of us are working together to do the best we can, and I appreciate that I get to say again that I am against it, and I'm concerned that I don't see the need for a rush. There are people who can't apply because we don't have an ordinance. We don't have an ordinance to cover. We don't have zoning. So there are people who want to put in data centers, is what I'm hearing, but we can't approve them yet because we don't have this. So that's the pressure, to go ahead and have something in place so the interests who want to come here have a process to do it. Nothing bad about it, it's just that's how it works. And I'm not ready to start that process. I'm not ready to say, yeah, we're ready, come on, show us what you got and we'll work through it and do the best we can with it. I want us to have more in place to know how much water they need. I can't get any estimates. I haven't found out how often closed loop systems would have to dump and recharge. I want to know more about it before I say I even want to hear what you propose to do in Statesboro. But thank you for letting me have my say again.
Okay. All right. Anything else from council? All right. Is there a motion? To approve or not to approve?
So moved.
Is it to approve?
To approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Councilmember Henry? Okay. All right, let it show that, agenda item 7 is passed on a 3-1 vote. We'll go to agenda item 8, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro alcohol ordinance. Section 6-138, English Nail Salon, PT2, owner Tom Berry, location 105 Twin Way, Unit B1, license type with low volume. Prior to opening up the hearing, let it be known that Councilmember Hillary has recused herself from this process. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? All right. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Anyone here to speak against this request? Is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. We move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2026-22, a resolution calling for a special election to fill the unexpired term of the vacant District 2 council seat, fixing the qualification fee for candidates and authorizing publication. Anything you want to add to that?
No.
Okay.
It came.
Yeah, Mayor, it's just a resolution that would allow us to move forward with that election. And then the dates for qualification are set for what date?
Well, they'll be, August, the third week of August, the Tuesday, 18th through the 20th.
Oh, that's qualification, yes. Okay.
Yeah, but it will allow me to, we have to call the election before we can even set the qualifying dates, but that's what this one says.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
So it will be held on November 3rd.
November 3rd. Okay, thank you. All right. Any discussion by council?
So the election will be November 3rd, but qualifying, anybody who lives in that district will come to City Hall and we'll see Leah in order to qualify to run on August 18, 19, or 20.
That's only 3 days this time.
It's 3 days.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's move on to agenda item 10, consider. Oh, I ain't seen it, I'm sorry. Okay, well, we got 4. So please note, John is in the bathroom. We're moving on to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2026-23, a resolution approving the increase of health insurance rates premium for current and retired employees. Mr. King.
Mayor, members of the council, at the work session last week, last month, we talked about the need to increase the amount of that our employees pay. This resolution will do that, but it also will increase what our retirees currently pay. Currently, retirees don't pay anything. So beginning in January, they would have this increased cost. And so you have a resolution before you. The retirees, that would go into effect on January 1, 2027. So we'll spend time informing them. We also affirmed that new retirees will pay the monthly rate above effective July 1, 2026. So if anybody retires after July 1, they will immediately begin paying that cost. And then we also want to affirm eligibility for retiree health insurance as follows. Employee has worked at least 30 years of service with the City of Statesboro. And then the employee has worked in a public safety position, police or firefighter, with the City of Statesboro for for at least 25 years and is at least 55 years of age. And it also affirms spousal coverage for new retirees will cease once the retiree reaches 65 years old. Currently, when retirees roll off, they roll off at 65. If they have a spouse, that spouse stays on our coverage. And what we're saying is, once that retiree rolls off, the coverage for the spouse also terminates. And so we recommend approval of this resolution, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by council? All right. All those in favor? In other words, a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, moving on to agenda item 11.
Mr. Mayor, let me interrupt a moment and get Leah's on Kenny's input. Because Mr. Reese was able to step out and Jeannie had recused herself, do we need to re-say our vote if there are only two of us to vote on the item number 8?
Item number 8, everybody was present.
Everybody was present?
Yeah, we were all present for that, but I wasn't here for that.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we don't have to do
But
that.
we had to vote for that.
I got it. I'm on it. Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm driving this car. I got it. Yeah. We'll move to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2026-24. A resolution requesting approval to apply for assistance to firefighters grant for the city of Statesboro, Georgia. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, we have been beneficiary of these grants, and these grants aid us with the health of our firefighters, and so we're asking permission to be able to apply again. A couple of things that's significant here is that, one, I think the grant will be for 2 years, but with the air packs that our firefighters have to operate under, currently we have 2 different systems, and what we'd like to do, it's pretty expensive, about $631,000 to get to where we use one system, because we'll need to change out our air packs. And so this grant would allow us, if we received it, to be able to do that and not have to incur that cost out of our budget. And so we recommend that you authorize us to be able to apply for these grants.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. Any discussion by council? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's move down to agenda item 12. Consideration of a motion to approve and amended IGA with Bullock County, Brooklyn, Porter, and Register regarding the floating local option sales tax in order to comply with Senate Bill 33. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, in 2025, before the referendum, we had entered into an agreement with the county and all the municipalities for how floss would be distributed. However, since that time, Senate Bill 33 was approved by the legislature in the last session. And we need to amend this because we did not think we were going to get any funds from floss until July of next year. But because some funds are available now, which is really a benefit to us, we need to amend the agreement so that we can recognize those revenues that will be available to us in July of 2026. And so that's why we're having to ask you to approve the amendment of the IGA. We do recommend approval.
All right. Anything from council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank God for this. We move on to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve a limited warranty deed conveying a 1/2 undivided interest in parcel 135.00001.000, a 1 acre parcel of the W.W. Mann Center Road in Bullock County. Mr. King.
Mayor, members of the council, we share ownership with the county for the airport.
And so this is a piece of equipment that sits on this land, and right now it's only owned by the city of Statesboro. So we just want to be good brothers and sisters with Bullock County, and so we need you to prove that they can own part of this land.
Okay.
Okay, recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna go on to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to approve the Statesboro Police Department joint rotation and record agreement for fiscal year 2027.
Mayor, members of the council, annually, we bring this before you. The only thing that's changed in this are the dates. I recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 15, consideration of a memorandum of understanding with Georgia Forward Incorporated to host the 2026 Youth Symposium in Statesboro, Georgia. Mr. Benny.
Mayor and members of the council, we have an opportunity to host youth in our community. Our youth council's been traveling around the state, and so GMA is, and Georgia Forward, they like to bring the meeting to Statesboro. And so we'd like to recommend that we host young people in our community sometime this fall, sometime between September and November. And so that's what we need your approval of this agreement with Georgia Forward. We do recommend it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, if there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 16, public comments. Signed up on our public comments, we have Marshall Webster and Eddie as well.
Morning, everybody. Mr. Mayor, at the last city council meeting, you offered some remarks on the importance of leadership. The fact that in your words, leadership does not happen in a silo. I agree wholeheartedly with that. It has been my studied observation that the greater part of leadership is leading by example. Therefore, I ask you to consider what example you set to your constituents when you allowed Paulette Chavers to serve illegally on city council when you knew full well she was not living in her district as clearly required by city law. Indeed, she wasn't even living in the city, but in Brunswick. What example did you set for your core constituents, especially the younger ones, when you and Ms. Chavers last year voted illegally to award a city contract to a firm owned by Ms. Chavers' brother, and then tried to cover it up when you got caught? What example did you set when you commented on an incident involving the county sheriff's department use of a K-9 to subdue a scofflaw resisting arrest, but ignored an incident in which a Statesboro woman was sentenced for letting her 8 children live in shocking squalor and neglect? Mr. Mayor, I have heard you comment that crime is caused by poverty. It has been my studied observation that this is untrue, that here in America, chronic, multi-generational poverty and crime are functions of culture. And you, sir, by your example, are doing your part to stoke those attitudes that not only perpetuate crime and poverty among the people you claim to champion, but are causing crime and poverty to actually get worse instead of better. Mr. Mayor, your words and actions, your example, send a clear message to your constituents that the rules don't matter, that the law doesn't matter, that if they choose to break the law, it's not their fault, but society's. Once again, I don't know what legal remedy the good people of Statesboro have in regards to your latest brazen flouting of the law in regards to Ms. Chavers' illegal service voting and compensation as a city council member, but I hope to find out. The cities of Detroit, Trenton, Baltimore, Charlotte, Augusta, Atlanta, New Orleans, Birmingham, and a host of smaller towns have in recent years seen mayors go to federal prison for corruption. Perhaps you see a trend here. Once again, Mayor McCollar, you have demonstrated yourself to be unfit for the position you hold. You need to step down from that chair immediately.
Thank you. All right. So let's be clear with this right here.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Ms. Johnson, where did you sleep at last night?
320 South Bridgeport Drive.
John, where did you sleep at last night?
106 Kensington Mews.
Miss Barr, where did you sleep at last night?
My home on Mockingbird Lane.
How do I know that? I do not. I don't know where any of my council members sleep at. And to get up here and publicly say that I know where Miss Paulette Shaver sleep at, I'm not her husband. So what in the world would make you think?
Are you publicly denying that you do?
Yes, I am. And it is a lie that you are perpetuating.
You're going to say in front of God that good people state word that you didn't know?
In front of God.
All right.
In front of God, I will say that. And to come up here and to clearly say a public lie like that, you should be ashamed of yourself. And let's be real cool. Let's go through everything that you said. If you ever heard me give a public speech, the first thing I talk about when they talk about youth crime, I talk about what happens in the home. I don't talk about culture. I don't talk about poverty. I talk about when it comes to youth crime, I talk about very specifically what happens in the home. So do you. So you and I actually agree on that. But because I'm black, you think I think a certain way, but I do not. And that's where you get it so wrong at. You can't see past the color of my skin without generalizing what you think I believe. And for years, you've come up here and you said lies in front of this community about me, about my wife, about Ms. Shavers, and you have no merit to stand on any of that. And you're not by yourself. It's my turn. And you are not by yourself with that. And let us be real clear. So I have no idea where Ms. Paulette sleeps at. I'm not her husband. So for you to say that, that's a blatant lie. And here's the other piece to this too. You talking about culture and crime. Let me tell you, crime is across the board with culture, race, and the entire gamut. Let's be clear. We got a president that's got 34 felonies. Let's hear you get up here and talk about how he's unfit to be president. Okay? You ain't gonna do that, are you? Right. So let's go to the next part about this. When somebody in my community, for me to be, I'm the mayor of the city. So if I see someone get bitten by a dog and I say it's unfortunate, that's the only thing I say is that it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we have to go through any of that. Any of that. And so to misrepresent what I say, what I stand for, that tells us very clear. And let me tell you something. God made us all different for a reason, Mr. Marshall. He made us black. He made us white. He made us Hispanic. He made us Asian because that is his genius. And to rail against people because of the color of their skin is an abomination.
I didn't say
Because you are clearly a racist. You are clearly that. And so and I pray for your soul, because at the end of the day, God makes no mistakes when it comes to his creation. And to be as hateful as you are against black people, you're not getting into heaven. You are not getting into heaven. And so let's be clear. With that being said, Mr. Marshall, once again, you've come up and you've laid a litany of lies out in front of the community. But on this day, it's enough. For 8 years, I've been real patient. These last 4, I will not. And I'm going to be very clear. Every time you come up here with these racist tropes, criminals, are you serious? Criminals. Everybody up here will die for this community. We don't see you in the neighborhood helping the children, passing out food. We don't see you at the neighborhood cleanups, but you perpetuate hate in this community. And one day, I am so concerned that the hate that you are spewing is going to get someone hurt in this community. And I don't know whether you want that as your desired outcome or not. You're the same man. We had children protesting on the courthouse lawn. This man and his cronies come up there with guns. With guns. These was children. These was children. And you think you did something big. I feel sorry for you.
Chief was there, he can tell you that.
I know. And Chief watched me as I approached you when you had guns and I was unarmed. The only thing I was armed with was the calling of God. And I confronted all four of you. And you was all four very cowardice in that situation, weren't you?
Excuse me?
Yes, cowardice. COWARDICE. All right, Ed.
Well, let's just say I don't think it's a coincidence that you mentioned Baltimore, Detroit, Black Rock cities. Right. So
That's it.
apologies for all the folks here and Council Mayor.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ed.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Eddie, Civic and Advocacy Coordinator for Migrant Equity Southeast. We're an immigrant rights advocacy organization based in South and Coastal Georgia, including Bullock County and Statesboro. Since last year, we've been assisting families reeling back from the cruel immigration policies implemented at the state and federal levels. Family separation has been plaguing our communities throughout our region. Something as simple as a small traffic infraction leads to productive, honest community members being torn from their neighbors and their loved ones. Statesboro is known across our region for hosting one of the most diverse communities in rural Georgia, one where I felt at home, a place where you can find folks with roots from all over the country and world, and they'll feel at home. Statesboro's bustling economy is heavily dependent on immigrants to build new housing, construct new businesses, and contribute to Statesboro's unique culture, which is why it is deeply disappointing that this city has agreed to sign an agreement that explicitly targets these hardworking community members, called a 287G agreement. The federal government has been actively strong-arming and misinforming local governments where it believes it can get the most hits. They see our community members as numbers, statistics they need to accomplish to meet their goals, rather than the families of human beings that they are. Federal agencies target communities like Statesboro because of its diversity and culture. To demoralize the folks who believe we should welcome the foreigner, the stranger, into our community, because that's who Statesboro is. I want to credit Mayor McCollar and other city officials who have agreed to meet on this subject, and we look forward to those important conversations. But we feel it's important to inform the residents of Statesboro that SPD signed this agreement on February 26th, an agreement that Statesboro PD, an agreement that has been legally contested in courtrooms across the country due to its seemingly encouraging racial profiling. Additionally, Statesboro PD signed up for the most involved version, the task force model, which directly deputizes SPD officers for immigration enforcement. Lastly, while many in our community are celebrating the accomplished career of outgoing Statesboro Police Chief Broadhead, and I join them, it is deeply unfortunate that his signature on a 287G agreement will be how he signs off his year's public service. Thank you.
All right, and so Eddie, Chief, give us a little bit of insight on this right here. And Eddie, I know we still getting together next week.
Sure.
Did we say when next week? Eddie?
Yes, sir, Monday.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council, thanks for the moment. So about a year ago now, the state legislature passed a law that requires local jurisdictions to partner with ICE if ICE requests it. Further, that law said that we had to send a letter to ICE advising them that we were open to agreements with them. We're in compliance with that law. I sent a letter to them, fully outlined. It came from the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police as guidance to us of what to say. We said that, I have that documented. Early this year, ICE reached out to me and said, hey, we want to partner with you. We want you to join our task force model. What that means is they would, and this gentleman's correct, under the 287G program. So understand that outside of the 287G program, local law enforcement has no authority over immigration law. Like, we could not physically make an arrest on an immigration violation because we just don't have that authority. Under 287G, the federal government would then essentially deputize individual officers with credentials that would allow them to take federal enforcement action on immigration issues. So in order to do that, we have to sign an agreement with them, and then the individual officers have to pass a class. It's a 40-hour program understanding those aspects of federal law they'd be empowered to do. I feel obligated under the law to sign that agreement. I spoke to city legal about that. They're in agreement that we're obligated. We did sign it. We signed 3 officers up to take the training class and then be deputized. I'm one of those 3 officers, and I signed myself up so I could understand exactly what they're training our officers to do and what they're asking us to do. To this date, none of our officers, including me, have completed that training, so we do not currently have anybody that is legally authorized to make detentions under federal law. Because of my pending retirement, that agreement probably is going to be null and void on July 1st because, with my signature on it, and I'm not here, we'd have to get city legal to weigh in on that. But I have communicated that to ICE to let them know that I'm not going to be here and that I'm not going to complete that training between now and then. And they've said they'll just get back to us. So that's kind of where it stands at the moment and why we've signed the agreement. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay. Does that help you out a little bit, Eddie?
It does. I would just say I would probably, and I know that Chief is kind of taking advice from council. I would just have to disagree with council's conclusion. By that standard, Savannah would be operating outside the law, even though Mayor Van Johnson has repeatedly said he would not sign that kind of agreement.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else for public comment? Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and City Council and Charles Penny and staff. Juan Fatica, Bullock Voad. I just want to let everybody know, and not a better way to let everybody know because this is being live streamed, that Thursday at Pittman Park Church, Bullock Voad is hosting a partner organizations. We've asked partners to come in. We'll provide lunch to them, working with the United Way. And then we're also hosting in the afternoon anybody who still needs assistance with Tropical Storm Debbie or Hurricane Helene. They're welcome to come in and have conversations with us. We're actually looking for 2 people that have had damage from Hurricane Debbie that may need a new roof. We're partnering through a grant with St. Bernard Parish out of New Orleans, and they've agreed to do fortified roofs. And I don't know if you've ever seen the company and organization actually in South Carolina that shows damage from a hurricane. The fortified roofs are the new way to go. They're strapped down. First thing that usually blows off a house is their roof. Not going to happen if they're fortified. We actually work with Chandler Roofing here to get them certified to be fortified roofers. So just let people know that that program is available Thursday from 1 to 6 at Pittman Park Church. For partners, 11 to 6.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else? All right. We'll go down to other business from City Council. Any other business?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, this being June the 2nd, I'd just like to take this opportunity to say Happy Pride Month to all of our LGBTQIA residents, visitors, friends. Happy Pride Month, y'all.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right. And so, before we go to city manager comments, I want to add something to that. Treat people like human beings, y'all. Treat people, whatever hate you got in your heart towards people, ask God to remove that. Because at the end of the day, God created us all. And I don't know why I came out black. I'm quite sure Penny don't know why she came. We don't know, right? We don't know, right? You know, and it's yeah, like it is. Like at the end of the day, and man, get that. Like it's 2026, and in this country, we still dealing with the same issues It's 2026, and we run around chasing our Hispanic brothers and sisters. What are we doing? What are we doing in 2026? We would think humanity would have won by now. I know the people that created Star Trek are so disappointed right now. Because they said in the 90s we was going to get this right. And it's 2026 and we're still facing the same thing. And in this country right now, it's just like the powers that be want us to hate each other so much. They want us to hate each other. They want us to be afraid of each other. They want us to have hate in our heart. We want to hate people that we don't even know. Whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's skin color, whatever that, they want us to hate each other. And we sitting up here on the same day, we got the United States Army and the National Guard coming in. Do you think they ask, when they out there fighting for us, do you think they care about whether they fighting for me or Eduardo or Jenny? They're not asking that. They're just fighting for us. And so we got to get beyond this. And I'm going to tell you, over the next 4 years, I'm confronting every bit of bigotry in this community. I am going out on a war path on bigotry, whether that bigotry is in your politics, whether that bigotry is in how you treat people. I will not stand for our city I don't want no one with hate in their heart towards any group of people that feel that they got a safe haven here in this community. I want to be very clear about that. In Statesboro, we're not co-signing on any of that at all. Period. And we got to do better. We can't think we're getting into heaven and think we hate somebody. You getting into heaven, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't like short people. Well, my mama's short. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with us? Like, do we think you think God got a line for two people? Well, no, all our Asian brothers, y'all go over there. Ain't but one gate. Ain't but one gate. And we all got to pass through that. And so, moving forward, I'm on a war path against bigotry in this community. And if it's in your politics, I'm going to call it out. If it's in whatever it is that you clinging to, I'm calling that bigotry out. And we can't continue to be a community with it. We better than this, Facebook. We better than this. And I know most of us are. I walk these streets, I talk to the people. I know the people in this community love each other. We get mad sometimes because some folks going for the Georgia Southern and other people going for the Bulldogs. But we love each other in this community. Mr. Penny, let's go to city manager comments.
Mayor, member of the council, a couple of things. I wanted to, I just want to recognize Jason. I put in the FYI, part of Jason is a credential manager, and part of him being a credential manager means that he has received a certain amount of training during the course of the year. And I'm very proud of this. Jason applied to the Public Executive Leadership Academy at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and was accepted. He'll be going to Chapel Hill. It's 2 weeks, at 2 different weeks. And part of the reason that I'm proud of Jason, because he's an incredibly smart guy. But Jason, that program was actually initiated when I was president of North Carolina City County Management Association. And I worked with Dr. Carl Stenberg when that the Pella was designed and established. And so Jason is going to be in good hands in Chapel Hill. And so it's a different color blue. But
we don't forgive him.
And then we included the press release about Chief Broadhead's retirement. And so today what I wanted to share with you is we have contracted with Developmental Associates to proceed with the process for selecting the chief. And so part of that initially will be to conduct some focus groups and get input from first they'll meet with myself and the assistant, but then they'll also meet with the command staff They will also have a virtual meeting with lieutenants and sergeants. And then they will also have, we're gonna make sure Demetrius, they need to meet with general staff as well.
Correct, they're going all the way down.
All the way down.
The council schedule first.
Okay.
And work around.
And then, virtual meeting with criminal justice stakeholders in the community. Then a face-to-face public meeting on June the 15th at 6:00 p.m. in this room for the general public to have input in that process. They're also gonna have face-to-face meetings with the elected body. On Monday, June 15th and Tuesday, June 16th, based on your availability. So I just wanted to let you know. And once we finish that process, then we will go through the process of advertising. We want to compile that information before we start broadcasting to the world what the characteristics of the next police chief we're looking for. And so I just want to make that known to you. Because we will not have met before it's time to do that again. The other thing I also want to mention is we have a number of interns with the city. Justin has an intern. I don't know that she's in the room. Okay, and she's located on our floor. And Lane Phillips has an intern. She's also located on our floor.
She's in the back of the room.
Can you stand up and introduce yourself? Stand up and introduce yourself.
I am Shelby Bruce. I'm the graphic designer.
Hey, Shel. Welcome. We also started Youth Connect on Tuesday after Memorial Day, and I think a few of those folks are in the room. Are there some in the room? Yes. You stand up. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Carl Phillips, and I'm with the engineering. So I'm Sean Kidd. I'm also with the engineering.
Okay. We have, what's the third one?
That was also mine too. What was it?
We have 40 young people working. Oh, that's beautiful. And they'll be with us for 5 weeks. And so just want to recognize them this morning. So now I need to take a point of personal privilege. All right, we're going to close the meeting. Dear Mayor, members of the City Council. I am writing to formally notify you of my intention to retire from my position as City Manager of Statesboro, effective January 1st, 2027. After careful consideration, I've determined that this timing allows for an orderly transition and ensures the city continued progress. Providing advance notice will facilitate a thoughtful succession process, giving the city ample opportunity to select new leadership and maintain stability for our staff and community. Since joining Statesboro City Manager on July 1st, 2019, I've been privileged to work alongside you, our dedicated city employees, and the broader community in advancing important initiatives and making meaningful improvements. Among the accomplishments I'm most proud of are the launch and expansion of the Youth Connect program, which has provided valuable opportunities and support for our young people, significant enhancements to employee compensation, helping to attract and retain talented public servants, and the successful housing rehabilitation projects made possible through ARPA funds, improving the quality of life for many residents. Additionally, the completion of critical sewer extension projects has strengthened our infrastructure, and the opening of Fire Station 3 stands as a testament to our commitment to public safety. Throughout my tenure, I've been deeply, deeply grateful for the warm welcome extended by the Statesboro community and the collaborative spirit of the City Council. The friendships, excuse me for a minute. The friendships and professional relationships I've formed here are truly special. And I've been inspired by the dedication and vision of those around me. Together we've launched initiatives that will have a lasting positive impact. And I'm confident that the city will continue to thrive under your leadership. As I prepare to return to North Carolina to spend more time with my family, I remain optimistic about the future of Statesboro. The foundations we have built, both in policy and in the community, position the city for continued growth and success. I wish all of you and the entire city staff the very best as you carry forward our shared goals and pursue new opportunities. Thank you for your trust, support, and partnership during my years as city manager. It's been an honor to serve this remarkable city, and I look forward to seeing Statesboro reach even higher, greater heights in the years ahead. With sincere appreciation and best wishes, Charles Penn. I will say to you, Mayor and members of council, the last time I retired in 2017, I only gave the community a 60-day notice because I don't like long goodbyes. However, I felt it was important for this organization to give you the opportunity to select a manager while I'm here. And the thing to remember is that when I came to Statesboro, I was the fourth city manager in 8 years. So every 2 years, our staff was faced with change in leadership. The thing that has been most important for our employees is to have that stability. And you and I have developed a culture in our organization that is so critical to our employees. You cared for our employees. You paid our employees. They are appreciated. So the next manager should have those same qualities to care about these 360 employees. And so I just want to give you the chance to select the best person to lead this organization. And so that's why I'm willing to give you the 6 months. Edith is here with me. And she's my partner. We've been married for 44 years. And when we go to a community, they get both of us. That's right. And we go in and dive in head first. And so I appreciate her and I appreciate our family for allowing us to be away from them. But this past weekend probably proved to me that I need to get back to North Carolina. I lost my older sister since I've been here. And my grandchildren graduated 2 weeks ago, but I was sick. Nephew got married yesterday, last Saturday. And tomorrow we have to go back for another funeral. But I'll be here till the end of the year. And so again, I just thank you for the opportunity.
I'm gonna tell my Charles Penny story. I don't believe God operates in strange ways. And I think that we don't know why we go through a thing sometimes. And then you look back on it, and the only thing you can say is that that's nothing but God. In 2016, I did what was the most difficult thing I ever had to do, and that I left my family for 2 months. And I was in, of all states, North Carolina. And while I was there, I looked at the infrastructure. I was in Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill area. And I kept looking at the infrastructure. And I was like, man, they building sidewalks, they're building this, they're doing. And then I found out about the research triangle, and I was like, man, I heard about all of the great economic development opportunities that was going on in North Carolina. What I didn't know at that time was that a year from that time point, I would be elected mayor of the city of Statesboro. And when I came in, I had a whole bunch of ideas of, what we wanted to do. Our then city manager, about a year and a half into it, resigns. And we start to search for a new city manager. And we get all of these applications in. Really group of talented people. But they just didn't have that it thing that I was looking for. And I had talked to council, and I told them, I said, look, this is what I'm thinking that we're needing. And I ended up talking to Stephen Strauss, is that Stephen's last? Stephen Strauss. And we were over here at the Avery Center, and I think they were doing some mock interviews or some part of the search they were doing. And I began to talk to him. I was like, well, I was in North Carolina, and I saw the economic development and the roads and highways and stuff. I just saw so much opportunity there. And I said, if we could get a city manager that was familiar with that, I think that would lay out the future of our community. And Stephen, who was a little bit taller than me, looked up and smiled. And he said, I know a guy. The question is, will he come? God is good. Mr. Penny applied. We looked at his resume. He immediately became one of the top candidates. And we interviewed some really good people. But my friend Jeff Yon said something in that interview process when Mr. Penny got finished. And Jeff said very clearly, how does it feel to be the Michael Jordan of this? And that stuck with me. He knew what he was doing. Not only did this organization, but his community needed him and his wife. The impact that they've made on this community is going to be felt for a long time. We're not just talking about the building of infrastructure. We're not just talking about job creation. We're not just talking about the youth programs. We're not just talking about, making this organization stronger. We're not just talking about the food bank. We're talking about all of the unsung things that they did in this community. And they did it with joy. So, Mr. Penny, thank you. Thank you for the sacrifice. I know it was a lot to leave, but you can go home. Jump with them. Jump with them. Council, if y'all want to say anything.
Mr. Penny, you have just been one of the kindest men I've had the pleasure of working with. You lead with such strength and dignity and God's grace. You always face problems with a clear mind. You've always made me want to be a better person, and I look up to you a lot. I wish you, Edith, so much prosperity and wellness and fun with your family, enjoy this time. Statesboro is better off because y'all been here. Thank you.
Anything else from council?
I'm sure I have a lot more to say. You know, I have a lot more to say in 6 months, so I won't address any of it.
talk trash between 6 months.
But I want to thank Ms. Edith and their children and their family. Because they've spent, how many Christmases have they come down and spent Christmas here, Thanksgiving here? And I know y'all go back to North Carolina 3 times in the last 3 weeks, and again tomorrow, or, I know you would not be here without her permission. I want to thank Ms. Edith, because
That's right.
she has allowed y'all both, anyway, and she's an inspiration to me, just like she is with you. Just like you are with me. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything further from council?
I feel like I have cried someone.
Yeah. Get myself together. I'm tough. I don't care what y'all say.
Mr. Charles Petty, you are seen and appreciated. Thank you.
All right, you okay, Tangy? Okay. Yeah, I'm tough. I'm back now. Yes. It's tough. Mr. Penny, thank you so much. And we wanna, with Leah and Lane, we all talk later on outside of Mr. Penny. We'll talk later on. I know, we know, don't worry about it, we got it. With that being said, again, thank you, Mr. Penny, for everything that you've done. I think you made all of us better, and we appreciate that. With that being said, is there a need for executive session? No, okay. We'll move down to our favorite part of the agenda. We've had a long one today. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We got a second. All those in favor? Thank you.